Before we get started, I'd like to just honor everybody who has made it this evening. I would also like to honor you, our Honorable Superman Diwanzira, who is joining us for this phenomenal launch. Good evening to you, sir. So obviously, without a people, a vision perishes. And there is a great vision of the buildings that you see all around you, the pictures that have been stationed at every corner. And without the people who are behind the vision, there's going to be nothing for you to look at. So I'd like to call the Thetan team to just stand up where you are. They can come in. I can see them all out there. The Thetan team, maybe we can give them a round of applause as they come in. Come on, guys. Come through right here. Yes, Mr. Moses, right here. You see, when I talk about excellence, this is what I'm talking about. Can you tell that this is excellent? The shirts are all in one accord. Everybody is neat and everybody is ready, which is phenomenal. Guys, give yourselves a round of applause if nobody else will. So these men and women rally together every single day to make the dream come true. The architects, the engineers, the designers, the marketers, the people who know how to speak, they're all in the forefront and they're making this dream come true. I just wanted you guys to see the faces and to see them. They will be plugged around in the evening. We will have a tour later on in the evening, and these are the people to go to. These are the people to speak to about those agreements of sale, Mr. Pride, that I mentioned. These are the people to see. Right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You can take your seats. And there is somebody behind the whole thing, bringing these guys together. They have sleepless nights. Some of them couldn't even be here because they were up all night just to make sure that our venue was going to be safe for us. And I will say one thing. Remember that we are still at a construction site, so please move with caution. Please move with caution as you are moving around later on as we do the tour. But there is that great visionary, the leader. He is our executive chairman for Thetan Property. And I am going to call him up so that he can address us and give us a few words about who Thetan Property really are. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ben Nyaungwe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much all for coming. This is quite an awesome turnout. It's great to see you all here. Lots of familiar faces. But following protocol, I really want to welcome our guest of honor here, Honorable Superman Diwanzira. We are pleased to have you here, Honorable. And the rest of the party as well, and our friends that have come all the way from Russia, and importantly, everyone that is here. Thank you for being here tonight and sharing with us and participating in this really, really amazing event that we have planned for you this evening. So, after having watched that docuseries, I hadn't watched it in I think we showed it for the first time to the staff at the Christmas party in December. And it's basically said everything I wanted to say. I don't know if you were listening, but I mean, that's really what I wanted to say, a lot of what we were saying there. So I'm going to go off a little bit on a tangent, and I hope I don't bore you, and I'm still relevant in what I still have to say. There was also something that was crossing my mind this afternoon. When you're a property developer, when you're running a business, whatever kind of business it is, there's so much that you want your audience, your market, your clientele to understand about you. There's so much to say, so much to share. But then in this particular instance, today, I really felt that it's not about talking. There's less to be said And it should really more be about letting the products speak for themselves. When we were planning the launch of the Connaught, we went and we looked at our partner, the Peach Hotel. We have a great relationship with them. We thought that is the venue that we would use. And we started our planning thinking we'd do this thing at the Peach Hotel. But then we soon realized we are taking away people from a site where they can actually literally, physically see what it is that we do. Look at our quality, look at the kind of product that we develop, and realize very critically and very important is you see a lot of projects out there being marketed with really amazing architectural impressions. And then when you look at the final product, they are not the same. They do not look like the architectural impressions that informed your investment decision. The one thing I'm very proud, and I'll challenge all of you, because we've got all of these beautiful images, and where do I point? Where we've got all of these beautiful images of, I think my slides might have moved around a little bit. I want to come to the renders of this particular development. Kumbi, I'm sorry, I'm going to be going back and forth here. Right there. When you look at that render, that was the artistic impression that we used, that we came out with when we were launching this particular product. And when you look at what has been built there, for me, I can't tell the difference. I mean, this could really have been a photograph of the exact actual buildings that you see out there. It is true to render. And that's very important. Because what you are going to see tonight, when my colleague comes on and presents the Connaught project to you, what you are seeing on those renders is exactly the product that you will get if you make the investment decision to invest with us. All right. I'll go back again to the beginning of this. And maybe some of this didn't come out quite clearly in the presentation that was in that beautiful presentation that was shown earlier. But, you know, I remember being interviewed on ZFM, and I was making a point that, you know, Zimbabwe, you know, the first government under Robert Gabriel Mugabe did so much to invest in the education of its population. We've got some really smart people. Anywhere you go around the world, there's a Zimbabwean at the top of their game that's really doing so well. And I always think to myself that if a few more of those people could come back and really take advantage of all of the low-hanging fruits, the multitude of opportunities that are in Zimbabwe, we would be able to really create a great, 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 great country. And that is one of the things that drives us at Dayton Property. We are wanting to make our contribution to get or to be the Zimbabwe that we want. We want to build the Zimbabwe that we want. There are so many people I went to university with all around the world who say, but you know, there's no shopping malls, there's no Santas, there's no all of those amenities that you find in more developed economies. But those are the actual opportunities. The fact that we don't have them, and there's this huge demand. I mean, if you go into Johannesburg, most of the people that are shopping there in Sandton City are Zimbabweans, taking money earned here and spending it in a foreign country because we haven't given them the product that they need. So we are trying to play our little part in trying to address that gap. People travel to Dubai, they travel to Cape Town, they stay in these amazing apartments, they stay in these amazing hotels and amazing facilities, and because we don't have them here, you know, where they've made money, they go and spend that money there. But we want to have those products here in Zimbabwe. We need some of that money to circulate a few more times locally, in the local economy, and that will benefit each and every one of us. The more we can do that, the better we'll all be. It's a self-fulfilling type of thing. So a couple of years back, we did a strategic session and we wanted to define ourselves and understand exactly who we were as an organization. And this was one of the things that came out of that exercise. The fact that we are an award-winning organization, and this was before the 16 awards that we got last year. um, a dynamic real estate development company driven to create groundbreaking, which is exactly what I think we're doing with the Connaught, and you're going to hear a lot more about it a little later on. Things that are innovative, high value, and we want to normalize excellence. And I want to just go on a little bit more about that word excellence, because we've really found it that is really the core purpose of our existence as an organization. We are seeking excellence, and we want to epitomize black excellence. We want our seat at the table, and we want to be recognized as capable as any other party that is out there. So those are things that are really dear to us and mean a hell of a lot to us and drive us in everything that we do in our organization. You know, I remember when we did the launch of this particular project here, I'm sure a lot of you know a very well-known gentleman known as Joshua Maponga. He used to be pastor or bishop, Joshua Maponga. He's dropped that title now. And Joshua at that time was our guest speaker. And you know, there's a lady one of the ladies that worked for you, Farai. Hello, Miss Mlochwa. Elaine, forgetting her surname now. And she came to me and she said, Ben, this just looks too good to be true, hey. It just looks too good to be true. I mean, nobody's gonna really believe this, because nobody's doing this in Harare, nobody's doing this in Zimbabwe. But ladies and gentlemen, here it is. After all the formalities and the presentations and speeches, we really invite you all to go in there and see it. It has happened, it has been built, it is reality. The Thetan team has already been introduced. I was really looking forward to do that. You stole a little bit of my thunder, Marissa. But you know, one of the things that's important, when you are doing an ambitious project, people want to believe. They want to know that these people have the technical capability and competence to do what they're saying they're going to do. This is just a little bit of our history, or maybe my personal history. Developed, owned, and operated the first Radisson Hotel in Africa. And you can see it's a massive high-rise building, 21 stories, and I was in my early 30s. Now I'm on the 5th floor. I know you won't believe it. I don't look it, eh? I look more like I'm still that age. But we've had the exposure. We've done these things before. In fact, we've done significantly more complicated, more technically challenging projects than what we are looking to deliver to you at the Connaught. So one of the things you can be assured, and if you saw those people that came through here, what Marissa probably didn't say is we've got 8 engineers that are full-time employees at Thetan Property. We've got 3 quantity surveyors, and we've got 3 architects within the organization. So when we're talking about being a turnkey developer, that we do everything from conception, all the design, all the engineering, the value engineering, and then finally moving on to site, that is really what we do. We have those resources in-house, and our level of technical expertise is I don't know any other organization that's got all of that within one organization and in-house. That video, if you enjoyed it, that you watched earlier on tonight, it will be coming up on your YouTube links or when you're on social media. Please do share it as widely as you can. Would really love a lot more people to understand us as an organization and see a little bit of our history and where we've come from. Good evening, Dr. Chanakira. Welcome, welcome. There's, you know, this afternoon I was at an event. I was one of the panelists. This was the Zimbabwe Family Business Summit. A very amazing summit, and I would encourage all of you to attend the next one that's coming up next year. A lot of international speakers, some really prominent people were present. They gave absolutely amazing presentations and discussions. Dr. Chanakira chaired one of those panel discussions. And there was something really interesting. One of the people that was there was Jeremy Brook, someone I really look up to, have a lot of respect for. He called me my new best friend. And you remain my friend as long as you don't stop smoking. So, excuse my voice. But Jeremy spoke about something really important. He spoke about the fact that, early in his career, he had built Shearwater Adventures. He then sold the business. And the next thing, he was flat broke. Absolutely flat broke. And he says an experience he had in his life that he would never lose, never give up. And when I was on a panel discussion, there was also Miss Joshi was there, who had similar experiences, and everybody was really appreciative of the downfalls that they've had. And I want to make reference to one of these philosophers that I really enjoy. His name is Carl Jung. And one of the things he says that struggle and adversity are the greatest teachers and builders of strength of character and vision. In my own personal story, Jeremy was very excited that I went through the same thing. I was liquidated. I'd become a Rand billionaire. Well, we had a company that had a billion Rand balance sheet. I was only 34 years old. Lost everything entirely. House, car, everything. Couldn't operate a bank account. And came back to the land of honey, Zimbabwe. With all that experience and all of those battle scars, if you get a cut on your hand, it always heals, doesn't it? And that piece of skin where the cut was actually becomes stronger than the rest of the skin around it. So we've been through those fires. We've been down. And I tell you, once you get up when you have fallen down, you come up and you're a lot stronger and you're a lot more resilient. And the Connaught is a very exciting project. You're going to love it. But I can tell you there'll still be more. And we're going to keep going and keep building until we get to that Zimbabwe that we want to see. And create, the country that way when you want to go on holiday, you want to go and enjoy Christmas, New Year's, don't travel to Cape Town. Go to Vic Falls, because it should have everything that you can get in Cape Town. We've got some really amazing destinations here in Zimbabwe that have not been fully developed. People go to the Drakensberg. We've got Nyanga that's sitting out there waiting to be developed. All of these are some of the low-hanging fruits I'm talking about. And it's upon us to actually take advantage of them and realize them and create this wealth for ourselves and for our economy. Recently, we've heard of a delisting happening on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. And it's public knowledge. We know that Connaught is looking to delist from the stock exchange. They're offering cash and shares. There are some of you here, hopefully, that are asset managers, private equity managers, bankers even. When you have that cash, when you've sold your shares at Connaught and you're looking for homes, you know exactly where to put your money, the Connaught luxury residence. At the present moment, we've actually got some of those people negotiating with us. I wish we'd been able to finish those, because I would have loved to have been actually able to tell you that we're already 20% sold out. But yes, we're there. We've already had people who have come and signed and committed to invest in the project. And we're hoping that all of you too will do so. So, following that lovely docu-series and these few words that I've had to say to you, that is my part. I'm going to be around. We'll be able to talk to anybody, engage with anybody. Thank you very much, and thank you for supporting us tonight.
What? they have played yourself. That's me.
Wow. Go for it.
I greet you all. Theton Property CEO, Mr. Ben Yaomese, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. All invited guests, you know, being handpicked by one of the greatest companies, not only in our land, but in the region, and also through a man I respect so much, Mr. Ben Yaomwe, is a huge nod to the character that Theton Properties saw it fit with Black Excellence Synergy, a leading real-world property firm aligning with discipline, a mastery of the Zim Ninja as a brand. The connection between Theton Property and the Zim Ninja Academy is defined by a shared belief that African excellence is a global standard. By merging world-class engineering with elite martial arts discipline, both entities aim to inspire a homecoming of talent and a renewed sense of national pride. Unwavering discipline and technical mastery, professional rigor, Theton Properties rejects standard construction, opting for high-level engineering, off-grid solar, double glazing, and thermal efficiency to solve local challenges. Mental fortitude. The academy teaches martial arts as a strategic discipline focusing on emotional control and the art of survival, rather than just physical combat. Radical self-belief, global representation. Competing at the top. By the way, I became the first African world champion, being the first African, but being born in Zimbabwe. I went to Russia in 2016, being the only African, and I conquered the world to the surprise of many. So, and I can say God is wonderful. Was from there, that is when the world realized that in Zimbabwe, there is Zim Ninja. After 2016 winning Russia, 2018 I became the first, not only Zimbabwean, but African, to be inducted into the Barcelona Hall of Fame. Then after that, I was inducted into the Italian Hall of Fame, the Serbian Hall of Fame, London Hall of Fame, being the only African. So it's an honor. And last year I took 8 kids to United Kingdom, 4 girls and 4 boys. They won 43 medals in world championships. Something that no any other African country has done in that martial arts mastery of weapons. So I can say, yes, we can do it. And through Mr. Ben Yaomwe, let us believe in ourselves. So as I was saying, competing at the top by winning at the International Property Awards, that's Theton Property. Theton Properties won so many awards, international awards actually. And myself, Martial Arts Hall of Fame and World Championship, both organizations prove that Zimbabweans can lead in fields traditionally dominated by foreign giants, defying stereotypes. They move from being participants to pioneers, showing that a dedicated African mind has no limits in business or in sport. Uplifting others and social responsibility. Community shield. The Academy actively fights gender-based violence through free women's self-defense and keeps youth off the streets by advocating for a drug-free generation. Mentorship. They transform street energy into professional athleticism, building the confidence of vulnerable groups to stand tall in any room. You know, my mission, seeing that, yes, we can do it, I'm actually trying to take youth off the streets, identifying talent so that they stay away from drugs and substance abuse. The homecoming mission, Urban and Human Renewal, Chief Executive Officer Mr. Ben Yaomwe and myself, Shian Mashaya, use our global success to reinvest in Zimbabwe, calling on the diasporans to also do the same. National pride. The goal is to restore Harare and other provinces to their former glory by creating lifestyle and a mindset that matches best in the world. So I would want to extend my deepest gratitude to Theton Properties and Mr. Ben Yaomwe and your team for appointing me as your brand ambassador. It is a profound honor to be recognized by a huge company that leads with such vision. Our shared commitment to excellence and community growth makes this partnership a natural fit. I look forward to represent Theton brand with the same discipline and dedication that defines the Zim Ninja brand. We say martial arts starts and ends with discipline. And disciplines, it requires a lot of things. Hard work, dedication, commitment, and many more. Being named brand ambassador is not just a personal milestone, but a testament to what happens when local industry giants support local talent. Together, we are building a legacy of strength, integrity, and progress in Zimbabwe. Let us get to work. Let us continue shining. Let us continue believing in ourselves. In Black Excellency, yes, we can do it. And Theton Properties is a tangible proof to that through its world-class achievements. Thank you, Theton Properties. Thank you, Mr. Ben Yaomwe and your amazing team for believing in one of your own Zim Ninja Mount Award-winning martial artist. My humble, respecting Fubao, signing out. Yours truly, Zim Ninja. Us.
What a wow, I will say. And just an exhibition of discipline and honor and respect, most of all. Did we all see how he respected his tools? I mean, that is a great art, and I believe that is something that we should all acquire within ourselves. One thing that Shihan mentioned was keeping the youth off the street, making sure that, even the youth that have gone out of Zimbabwe will come home, which is something that Ben has been, speaking over and over again. We do have a mix of the oldies. I won't mention the oldies in the team. And we also have a mix of the young ones who are really making strides, really standing as an example of what the youth can actually do in our beautiful Zimbabwe. So our next speaker is going to be Mr. Munya Jokonya. He's going to give us a few words.
Thank you, Marissa, for that. So I think everyone's excited to actually see and speak about what you're mainly here for today. So I'll do a brief intro. My name is Munya Jokonya. I am an architect and I am the Developments and Projects Director here at Theton Property. So I'm actually quite excited about tonight, not just as an architect, but as a Zimbabwean. What we're about to show you is something extraordinary. It's never been seen before in Zimbabwe, and that is the Connaught luxury residence. So the Connaught luxury residence is more than a building. It's more than a structure. And tonight I want to first introduce the ideas which actually brought about the design, the vision, the design thinking, the lifestyle we believe that Harare deserves. I think to get started, I'll start with the experience. So just imagine beginning your day with having a cup of coffee at Plato Coffee. For the families, the ease of dropping off your child at petite kindergarten. For those that work at home, just going downstairs for a meeting in Regis, and easily accessible in the afternoon to buy some fresh produce from the fresh company. In the afternoon, you can, or even towards the evening, going for a workout session in Pro Fitness, and then maybe even a massage at Camelot Spa afterwards. And for dinner, you don't need to go far. You can just go downstairs and order from Luga de Pogo. That is the Connaught. And the idea behind the Connaught is about creating rhythm. Rhythm in how we live and how we actually experience life within the city itself. Now this rhythm, we've given it a name, a title. So we've called it Urban Plus. So I'm sure you've all heard live, work, play. I think it's every developer in Harare, South Africa, even across the globe uses that, live, work, play. We want to use a different acronym, Urban Plus. For us, Urban Plus is more complete. It's further expression of modern life. Urban Plus means unwind, retail, belong, achieve, nourish, and with the plus, it brings workspaces, wellness, and elevated services, all under one roof. Naturally, the next question becomes, where do you put such a building in Harare? We picked Avondale, right at the corner of Connaught Road and King George Road. This is one of the strongest and I think the most desirable urban nodes in Harare. Avondale is established, it's connected, it's central, it's familiar, it offers quick access into the CBD, and it's really coming up as we've seen in the property market. More and more modern developments are happening there, but none to the level that we're actually taking it with the Connaught luxury residence. In many ways, we've actually, as a team, been calling Avondale our new Rivonia, a place where lifestyle, business, convenience, and premium living are increasingly converging into one urban identity. Urban Plus. It only works when the location already has an energy of its own, it has that convenience and demand, and Avondale gave us the foundation to be able to actually do that. So what we're doing here is not simply a building on a site. We're plugging in a new lifestyle ecosystem into one of Harare's most urban settings. And even the approach to the site has been carefully considered with reconfigured traffic flow. We've already submitted our plans into City of Harare, where they currently are being approved, and we will be changing the intersection at that corner of Connaught and King George. Why? Is because convenience begins before you even enter the building. Right. And with that word, ecosystem. So, ecosystem is very important to us. Remember, I did say, this is not just a building. A building is not just a structure. It's not just about concrete, glass, finishes, floor plates. A building is an ecosystem. Its true value lies in what makes it possible, how we move, how we live, how we connect, how we rest, how we work, and just how we feel in general. You know what's interesting, as I've been going through the Connaught and the entire design process from the beginning, is, and Ben is laughing there, we were walking the streets, the pavements in Avondale, trying to find this piece of land, and we found it. But an important part of why I studied architecture is through growing up, seeing the different houses we lived in, the different buildings I experienced, schools and everything, realized the impact of architecture. Architecture buildings are more than just where you live, right? A lot of us are actually impacted by the places we stay. You'll find that a big part of your character, how you feel about yourself, is actually determined by where you stay and your experience through life, through buildings. At the Connaught, we wanted to design for lived experience, for the actual rhythm of daily life. From the way modern people increasingly want to live, with more convenience, more integration, more reliability, more quality in the way their day flows. And that matters, especially now. Harare is growing quickly. Harare was never designed for the number of inhabitants who have moved into Harare, who have been born into Harare. And so we actually have to do something as developers. And this is what we're doing with the Connaught. Life in Harare is, at the moment, you live in one place, you work in another, you shop somewhere else, you exercise across the city, you meet friends in another node entirely. And on top of that, utilities still add uncertainty and stress. Utilities being water and electricity. This fragmentation costs time, it costs energy, it costs money, and over time it affects the quality of life. What the Connaught does is it takes that fragmentation and turns it into flow. It reduces unnecessary movement, it gives time back, it brings daily needs together in one address, and it builds a greater sense of reliability and ease. That is the lifestyle value for the resident. And from an investment perspective, that is also the logic. A development that reduces friction between the kind of place people want to choose first and stay in for longer. It only makes sense. So the question becomes, how do you design such a building? So for us, there were three key drivers. The first was identity that lasts. The second, greenery that calms the city. Third, reliable ecosystem. Every design decision had to answer two simple questions. Does it make daily life better? And will it hold value over time? That thinking is reflected strongly in the design language of the building. We wanted something that feels globally competitive, but still deeply rooted in place. Something with a modern luxury sensibility, but not something that feels imported or disconnected from its context. That's why materials like face brick become so important to us. Face brick carries warmth. Tirivana vev, right? And if you look at our soil, it's red. And our building, face brick really grounds our building within our context. And it ages well. It also speaks to something local, to texture, earth, and a visual richness that suits Harare. Then there's integration of greenery. In a dense urban setting, greenery softens the experience of the city. It creates calm, it humanizes the facade, it introduces life into architecture. So the result is a building that feels refined and modern, but also warm, calm, and rooted. In many ways, that is the balance we're after. A global standard with a Harare soul. Planning for the building was equally important. we approached it almost like designing a mini city. The arrival matters, the first impressions matter, the base of the building must feel active, useful, and welcoming. The mixed use and service layers must support the life of the building, and the homes above must feel elevated, calm, and removed enough to still feel private and secure. So rather than simply stacking different uses on top of one another, we focus on flow, on how each layer of the building supports the next. That is what that allows the Connaught to function not just as a development, but as a true mixed-use destination. And when we speak about destination, we are speaking very practically. At the Connaught, the ecosystem includes brands that you may already have heard of, that you visit regularly. And those brands are Plato Coffee, Regis Service Offices. Regis is a Fortune 500 listed company. If I'm not mistaken, they're currently the biggest service office provider in the world. And they're providing services to global brands, Google, Microsoft. We're bringing the Regis to Zimbabwe. The Fresh Company, they do fresh produce, market style. We have Pro Fitness Gym coming in, Camelot Spa, Luga de Polo, and we haven't forgotten that we all have families. We have to think about life as a whole, and so we've decided to also include a daycare, one that is petite kindergarten. And for the residents, there's a lot more. We have a swimming pool and kiddies pool, of course, a clubhouse, multiple braai areas, and ample parking and optional storage. And layered into that are the services that turn convenience into luxury. A 24-hour reception, concierge support, just like what you get in hotels, and optional housekeeping. So we have 9 staff on call 24 hours a day as a service that you can buy into. So this brings hotel-style ease and into daily living. And with over 400 plus parking bays in the development, that supports the scale of the ecosystem with the convenience and capacity a mixed destination truly needs. Each of those elements plays a role in shaping daily life. This is not convenience for the sake of having a long list of amenities, and trust me, I can keep going. I haven't mentioned quite a number of them. It is convenience that changes behavior. It changes how much time you spend in traffic. It changes how easily family logistics work. It changes how work and wellness can be integrated. It changes how much friction exists in your day. And that is what makes urban life, urban plus, meaningful. Because the plus is not decorative. The plus is where the value is. It is what turns a residential building into a living ecosystem. It is what turns an address into a lifestyle. And in our context, there's another layer to that value, and that is reliability. One of the things we increasingly believe is that reliability is also the new luxury. You know, just having consistent power, consistent water at the right pressure. Luxury is not only what you see, it is what you can rely on. At the Connaught, a substantial solar farm helps power the building, reducing dependence on the grid and supporting more resilience in everyday living experience. Water is also treated as a valuable resource. It is captured, cleaned, reused within the building, helping support a more secure and future-ready way of living. Because in a modern urban environment, the real test of quality is not just image. It is consistency, it is reliability, and it is peace of mind. And once all of these ideas come together, the location, the lifestyle, the planning, the materials, the ecosystem, the resilience, then the architecture begins to take on its full meaning. And that brings me to the building itself. This is the Connaught realized. Everything I've been speaking about in its form. What you see here is the physical expression of everything I've just described. The warmth, the greenery, the confidence, the urban presence, and a sense of life in the architecture itself. And beyond the main facade, the aerial perspective and courtyard views begin to show the full ecosystem. Not just the building itself, but the environment and lifestyle it creates. The courtyard spaces are particularly important because they show how the development creates breathing room, greenery, and community within an urban setting. It is modern, but not cold. Premium, but not overstated. Ambitious, but still grounded in place. And what makes it powerful is not just the image, it is the detail behind it. Because luxury is never one big gesture. It's 100 smaller decisions. It is how you arrive, how the entrance feels, how the base of the building engages the street, how the greenery is woven into the experience, how materials age, how leisure spaces invite community, how the building supports family life, wellness, work, and rest, all at once. Those are the details that elevate the experience. Those are the details that turn a development into a reference point. And that, ultimately, is what the Connaught is. It is more than a building. It is more than an apartment. It is more than a mixed-use development. It is a new standard for urban living in Harare, a first of its kind in Zimbabwe, a place where convenience, connection, quality, and long-term value come together in one address. And I genuinely believe that in a few years, this will be one of those developments people refer back to. One of those addresses people say they saw it early, and they wish they had acted on it sooner. Because Urban Plus means more life per square meter. More convenience, more connection, more value. And at the Connaught, now is the time to be early. As Marissa said, we have agreements of sales ready for you. But before I do go, I want to show you what life looks like at the Connaught. Thank you. Welcome to Vegas.
Thank you. Absolutely phenomenal. Mr. Nyawumwe, I join you in a standing ovation for that. Fantastic. My goodness. Munya, are there elevators in there? Tao, I'm not going to need you anymore because, you know, Tao, he's the young gentleman who's helping me up the stairs every single time. I'm not going to need you. There's elevators at the Connaught. Right. There's also a marketing team that is involved in, you know, collecting your signatures at the end of the evening or the end of the week or even right now. Okay? And I'm going to call them up. That's Agnes, Catherine, and Kumbi. They're just going to give a quick brief about who they are and what they do in 5 minutes. A round of applause for them.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Allow me to say all protocol observed. I'm Agnes Chimani, the marketing lead for Thetan Properties, and I'm thrilled to be leading the team showcasing the Connaught Luxury Estate tonight. This is the Thetan marketing team, and we'll be guiding you through an unparalleled offer. Catherine, please take us away.
Thank you so much, Agnes. I see lots of my investors. Good evening. How are you? Okay, so today I would like to challenge you on everything that you ever believed in purchasing of land in Zimbabwe, particularly in Harare. So we as State-owned properties, you all know that 2 years back, we launched the 2267 Lifestyle Estate, and we managed to hand over the completed units. We are fully sold out now. And along the way, we won several awards. That's a story for another day. But today, I'm so excited to let you know that we are launching the Connaught Luxury Residence. And we got studio apartments. We got 1-bed apartments. The studios are going for 79,000, and you're only required to pay 50% down payment in the balance over 4 years. Clap hands for that. You know, other property developers that are in the similar space with us, I can tell you with my eyes closed or open, they are not offering the same payment plan as us. Yes, I know that. So the 1-beds, they are going for 115 only, and you can pay 50% only, and the balance over 4 years. Get your checks ready. My investors, you are ready there. I'm here. And thank you so much. I won number 1 in Zimbabwe out of 56 winners. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy. Kathy is charged and ready to lead you to the Connaught. Kumbirai, tell us more about the Connaught.
Sure. I don't have a whole fancy history, but I'm the Monya that's going to protect your investment. So come to me if you want to buy from me. My name's Kumbirai. I'm going to take you through the 2- and 3-bedroom apartments at the Connaught. The 2 bedrooms start at $175,000, excluding VAT. And again, you can pay 50% deposit over 3 months and the rest until 2030. The 3-bedroom ones are starting at $265. Now, the 3-bedroom ones is the one I really want to sell to the audience tonight. The 3-bedroom ones at the Connaught we consider the pinnacle, the crown jewel of this new crown jewel that's coming to Avondale. It's for esteemed business people, diplomats, executives, people not unlike yourselves. So this is your chance to come in and be part of the Connaught Luxury Residence, and you can start tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an investment you can't afford to miss.
Thank you, Kumbirai. Thank you, Kumbirai. So you can see that we are committed to securing your piece of luxury in Harare, in Avondale. I'll just go through the payment terms again. For all the apartments, there's 50% deposit required, and you can pay this off from month 1 to month 3. And then the remaining balance is payable from month 4 to month 24. It really doesn't get better than that. We're excited to welcome you to the Connaught, and we have given you soft terms so you can be part of the soft life at the Connaught. Please see us. We'll be here to service you and to usher you into the Connaught today. Thank you very much.
Good evening, distinguished guests, partners, and friends. It is an honor to stand here with you tonight at the official launch at the Connaught Luxury Residence. As she mentioned, my name is Kudima Radzika, and I've been a creative in the film and television industry for 15 years and created a show which was number 3 globally on Netflix, which is Bad Influencer. Please do watch it. Thank you. So I am, wow, okay, it's behind me. I didn't see that. I am a creative at heart, and I believe that creativity is in everything. And if you look for it hard enough, you will find it. Architecture is creativity expressed in physical form. There are moments when a building is just a building, and there are moments when a building becomes a statement. Tonight is definitely the latter. Because the Connaught is not simply a place to live, it is a declaration about belief and ambition, and what happens when people decide that excellence is not something to aspire to one day, but something to insist on now. Across Africa, and especially in Zimbabwe, we come from a legacy of builders. Long before glass towers and gated estates, our ancestors were shaping environments that reflected order, ingenuity, and vision. The stone walls of Great Zimbabwe were not only functional, they were an expression of power, organization, and confidence in the future. That same spirit lives inside projects like the Connaught. What excites me about this development and about what that stands for is that it places African excellence where it belongs, not as an afterthought or a decoration, but as an actual foundation. What stands here tonight is more than just luxury. It is confidence made visible. It is proof that world-class standards are not foreign to us. They are ours to define, ours to execute, and ours to own. Because luxury is not really about finishes or square meters. It's about intention, and it's about saying that our environments should reflect the value we place on ourselves, our work, and our future. And perhaps what makes this moment especially powerful is who is behind it. The development represents a generation of Zimbabweans who are done waiting for permission to shape industries. A generation that understands that if we want cities that reflect our ambition, then we must be the ones bold enough to build them. Because buildings speak. They speak to investors about confidence. They speak to residents about dignity. They speak to young people about what they are allowed to imagine for themselves. And when we build boldly, we expand what others believe is possible. Tonight, this space becomes more than a residence. It becomes a marker in a larger story, a story of Zimbabweans pushing boundaries and insisting on creating work that stands shoulder to shoulder with the best in the world. Not later, now. To everyone who imagined this project, Ben and your incredible team, and to those who financed the project, designed it, carried it to this moment, everyone involved, you have done the most. Congratulations. Give yourselves a round of applause. And to everyone who is here tonight, may the Connaught remind us that the future of our cities, of our industries, and our identity will never be handed to us, because it will be built by us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. In fact, I need to correct a few words is not correct. Actually, I'm kidding. Let me, first of all, recognize the chairman of Theton Property, Mr. Ben Nyaumwe, and your amazing team at Theton Property for the great work and the amazing stuff that we have seen here, and also of the groundbreaking project that we are all here to witness the official takeoff, which is the Connaught luxury residence. There's a bit of a confusion about my title, because as we were walking around during the break, some people were asking me, are you now with the Ministry of Local Government? And I was trying to explain that no, I'm not with the Ministry of Local Government. I'm with the Parliament of Zimbabwe as Member of Parliament, and I am with the ruling party ZANU-PF as Secretary for Local Government and National Housing. And now, they didn't want to ask, but I want to respond to the question they were afraid to ask. Which one is more important? The party is the one that deploys government. So we at the party, at the Politburo level, are the ones who deploy the ministers to deliver on our policies at ZANU-PF. So at this juncture, it is actually critical that those in business, those who want to engage seriously with government, must engage with ZANU-PF so that it can influence policy change in terms of what government eventually does. What government does is coming from the party. So we have to influence what the party thinks, how the party thinks, and how the party formulates policy. So you have to engage at that level. I know for most business people in Zimbabwe, it's kind of very difficult to engage with ZANU-PF, or afraid to engage with ZANU-PF, or you're embarrassed to engage with ZANU-PF. Well, in South Africa, business people engage with the ANC. In the USA, they engage with the Republicans. Some of the biggest donors in the global politics are the business people. So we ought to come out of this problem of Zimbabweans of being fearful of politicians. Because if we are fearful, tongo ita toita, and sometimes it doesn't help the business interests. So the engagement is absolutely necessary and important. So this is why I want to acknowledge Ben's invitation of myself to come here and be the guest of honor tonight. I want to recognize also some very important people I've seen in the room. I may not be able to mention all of you by name, but I've seen some very distinguished business people, very distinguished members of our society. Mkoma Nigel, who's here, and Madam, I have great respect for you, and it's befitting that you are here. Mkoma Nigel is one of our pioneers. And let me say something very briefly. The First Republic under President Robert Mugabe was very effective in educating Zimbabweans, was very effective in giving confidence to Zimbabweans to believe in themselves. And during that period, we saw significant rise of people like Mkoma Nigel, people like Julius Makoni, Gideon Gono, who became leading names in our banking sector. But at some point, I think the leadership was afraid of wealth, black wealth, and there wasn't enough support, and that generation was not seen through or supported enough. Under the Second Republic, the confidence, the belief in ourselves that was given to us under the First Republic, under the Second Republic, is being brought to life in terms of economic expression. Under the leadership of President Mnangagwa, support for business is unlimited. Ideas are welcomed. Opportunity is being unveiled to everybody. Hence the saying, Zimbabwe is open for business. It is these kind of projects that demonstrate that that policy is working. And I was listening to Ben as he was talking about his story, how he did all in South Africa, lost all in South Africa, but decided, I'm going to restart the journey home. And of course, he came back and he was welcomed, and the opportunities have really opened up for him. And this is what the Second Republic is, how it is defining its mandate and its role in our economy. To allow our people to be themselves in the spaces that they choose to be, and give them as much support without the tendency, without the syndrome to pull each other down. And we must acknowledge and applaud President Mnangagwa's attitude generally as a person, that he wants to see people make money, as he always says. So, I feel greatly honored and proud to stand here, because my background is that of black economic empowerment. We were some of the foot soldiers in saying we want our own people to have more space in the economic space. And we want government to use its pen to allow for those opportunities to go to our own people, to give our people an advantage, as opposed to smiling at the foreign investors and frowning at the local investors. And I'm very proud tonight that we have one of our own who's not just doing things, but doing things in an extraordinary fashion, building something that is remarkable. And as we saw the presentation from the architect, that's exactly what Zimbabweans are buying, some openly, some clandestinely, in Dubai. And frankly speaking, I had dinner with some of my friends from Russia who are here tonight. I don't know where Malik is, and Andre and Vlad, they're somewhere in the audience. And they were saying, as a person, where do you prefer to put your money? If you make a lot of money, where do you invest? I said, there's no other place I would feel safe putting my money other than in Zimbabwe. Because there's no other place, whether I've committed crime, whether there's chaos in this country, there's no other place I can run to, because this is the only place I know. So therefore, I feel safer putting my money in this country. And we have now fantastic opportunities of where to put our money. I was invited during the break to be on Carpet Talk Live, and they're broadcasting from here live. And they were asking, what message do you have for Zimbabweans about the project that's taking place here, the launch that's taking place here tonight? And I said, I know many Zimbabweans in the UK, in North America, in Australia, in other places, who have been building properties remotely. A lot of them have built fantastic properties, and a lot of them have lost a lot of money because they trust other people to do projects for them. Now, when you now have developers like Thayton Property, whose credibility, integrity is clearly demonstrated with what we are seeing around us, you now have an opportunity to come and pay $79,000 or $115,000 or just under $200,000 to have a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, or a bed-sitter, without the headache of, mariacho yasvika here, haina kumboshandiswa here, haina kumbopinzwa mumadhiri here, mazhetu mwana ndombotenga gold, ndombospina. But here is an opportunity to just put money in a project where you know your property is going to be available. So I was asked again by another interviewer. They were asking me, they're saying affordability is not an issue. But given the prices that we have been given, what do you think about the statement by Ben that says affordability is not an issue on this project and other projects? And I said, in the context of the Zimbabwean economy today, that is a true statement, that affordability is not an issue. $79,000 for a property which will grow in value. $115,000 for a 1-bedroom property that will grow in value. And just under $200,000 for a 2-bedroom property. Am I correct? $175,000 for a 2-bedroom property. It's not even a kg of gold today. 79,000 is half a kg. You need just 500 grams to afford this property. I'm being honest with you. This is the reality. And while we are seated here, kune vafana vakazara madhaka vari pasi pemugodhi, so ari kubuda ne500 grams dzake, but ari kunofidha mombe dzepa growth point macabbage, because asati aziva kuti kune Thayton Property gona kuinvesta iwoko. So the market is huge for this. In fact, we are not even in the market because dzinogona kungopera dzese dzimba idzi nemakorokoza, because they can afford it. it hasn't dawned on many Zimbabweans that the opportunity of gold is a real opportunity. Today, gold is probably $164,000 a kg. 164,000 US dollars a kg. That kg is accessible to some guy who's never gone to university, who's never been outside to Harare, outside our country, and they're making that 1 kg in 1 week. So our economy is transforming, and this, what you are doing, will open up huge opportunities for those that are in the mining space and that are doing mining and other businesses that are now growing as a result of what our economy is doing. So I'm here to officially launch this amazing product, the Connaught Luxury Residence, and to declare that this is what this country has been waiting for. Zimbabweans who have left this country, who have gained experience, who have seen what others can do, who have come back with the same attitude to say, if South Africans can do it for South Africa, if the Emiratis can do it for their own country, we can come back and do the same for our country. Very proud of Ms. Maradzika and the great success she has achieved. With this kind of Netflix success, they will be sitting somewhere in Hollywood or somewhere in Dubai. But that you come home to celebrate this kind of projects is remarkable. And we ought to now call upon all Zimbabweans across the board and to say, let's come back and build our country and support each other. You know, I see what happens in our economy. A Chinese company wins a big contract to do a road. Many locals can supply granite. Many locals can supply food. Many locals can supply cement or other things. But they will identify another Chinese who is in that space in order to give support to that Chinese because they believe in themselves, in their communities. And there's nothing wrong with that. The Jewish community does the same. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, I go to, my constituency is Nyanga South. When you're arriving in Nyanga, Juliusdale area, there's a small place on your left that does pizza and they sell flowers and stuff there. Nothing remarkable, nothing exciting about that place. But about a few kilometers before that, there's a black guy who has built some nice roadside facility to compete with that one. Apana no mira pe mutema. They all go and crowd this up. He's my neighbor, and I always talk about it with him. He's a fowler, and I always say, you know, I admire how white people support each other. And isusu sevanu atema toda utera zvinhu zvarungu so. Zvikanzi development yaitwa nemurungu. Tese tikati mqueue da kutenga so. Asi zvikanzi zvaitwa na Ben azvobudera komana. Well, I don't think that question is necessary today because zviri kubuda. And I'm very proud because I'm also an investor in this project. When Ben says, "Dara we utenge ma property," and I don't doubt all. Ben, you talk zoja juma club. To be honest, you know, my interface with Ben was in the entertainment space because I'm in the entertainment space with ZFM and other radio stations. So that's where we knew each other. But when he told me he's in property development, I said, like, Ben, honestly, I like what you're doing if you're doing that, but I wasn't confident. But when he says, go to this place, and I came and I saw what was happening, I said, this is the man to support. So tonight I just want to say to you, this is the man to support. And let's not just support by words. Let's support by doing. In my honest view, if we believe in ourselves, we should be able to believe in each other. And then we must begin to build an economy that saves ourselves, that makes sure that the guy who's doing the bricks is the guy you know who's going to supply you. The guy who's doing the quarry, the guy who's supplying the cement, we are all growing with each other. You know why people are bitter in our country? It's because wanongoona mumwe munhu wanise ndiye ari kurova bhegi. Vamwe vese vari kungomira hapana kana jeti ravari kuwana kana mafufu chaiwo haasi kuwana. That's why people get angry. And don't make money and make everybody angry. Make money and make everybody happy because you are sharing part of that money. And that's how you grow and become a bigger economy. And if we can do that in the construction space, I think we will have done a big thing for our country, because construction has a huge impact. That's when we can make a change. We can create much more employment in construction. We can create many downstream industries as a result of the construction. So tonight, I just want to congratulate Theton Property and say what you are doing is exactly what His Excellency President Emerson Mnangagwa is expecting Zimbabweans to do. Don't let these opportunities be grabbed by other people, grab them. There's a reason why Zimbabwe is most exciting at the moment. I don't want to mention any countries, but within the region, there are countries that are going to where we were, and we are coming from there. And investors are beginning to say, hang on a minute, Zimbabwe is coming from there, so let's go to Zimbabwe because they are now on an upward trend. And it so happens that those economies were the great economies in the region. So we're going to have an influx. And if we don't take those opportunities ourselves, they're going to be taken by others. And we have to wake up and take those opportunities ourselves. And like Ben has done with his great team. I'm very proud of the team that you have built, of professionals. And you have professionalized your operation. And that's what is important. Quality is determined by the professionals that you have within you. And this is what you have done extremely well on. And congratulations. I know that everybody here wants me to talk about 2030. And I'm going to talk about 2030. In that we want business to continue to trade in US dollars beyond 2030. Because right now, Ben is giving us 4 years to pay. Because he's afraid of the 2030 decision by the Reserve Bank that you cannot continue to have our currency by then. And the Reserve Bank, in many interactions, and some of the interactions I've been there with Connaught, they've said, no, don't look at the date. It's going to be a process when we introduce the local currency. But the date is still hanging. And that's why I'm going to say, we can only give you until 2030 to pay off your loan. So we think that if there can be some adjustment, gives flexibility, you can give people more than 4 years to pay in US dollar towards paying off their mortgage. That's the only 2030 I can talk about. I have a speech here that I was supposed to read. I don't think I should read it, but I've summarized it. So I wish to thank you for listening. And at this juncture, may I officially declare that the Connaught luxury residences have been officially launched. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Honorable, your speech really uplifted me. I'm a proud Zimbabwean. I've been home. If I go abroad, I can't spend more than 2 weeks. I come back home, no matter what it is. And thank you so much for that wonderful reminder. Our Zimbabwe is full of riches. It's full of greatness. And even at Theton, we really look at every little detail. And the details that we are into is making sure that your money is safe. But you know what? We actually have that on lock right here at Theton Property. And we are partners with Titan Law, and they are going to come up and just give us a few words of how your money is going to be safe when you do invest in this wonderful luxury residence. And please note, the operative word I said here is when. So we are waiting for your signatures on these agreements of sale. I will call up Calvin Sabao, who is he's the representative really of Titan Law, which is the firm that's going to be taking care of our finances. A round of applause as he comes up.
All protocols observed. Honorable Super Mandwanzira, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. You know, I've been given a hard task to address an audience after the guest of honor has spoken, so I'll try to be brief in my speech. As mentioned, I'm Kelvin Sabao. I am a partner and the head of conveyancing and real estate development at Titan Law. It is truly an honor to stand before you tonight as we celebrate the launch of the Connaught luxury residence, a development that represents vision, excellence, and a bold statement about the future of premium living. Just to mention a little bit about Titan Law. Titan Law was established in 2004 by the senior partner, Mr. Gerald Molochwa. And over the years, the firm has grown in leaps and bounds. From inception, the firm has been built on excellence, integrity, and professional precision. Today, it stands as one of the respected law firms in Zimbabwe, with a strong footprint in conveyancing and real estate development. We are proud to be the designated conveyancers for this remarkable project. Our role is simple, but critically important, to ensure that when you invest here, your investment is secured by or protected by a secure, legally compliant, and properly registered sectional title. We understand that you are not purchasing simply bricks and mortar. You are investing in certainty, security, and legacy. Our responsibility is to safeguard that investment by overseeing the sectional title registration process with precision, transparency, and professionalism, so that each of you, when you walk away with your keys in hand, you also walk away with the sectional title deed. This project is not just another development. It will change the face of Avondale. It represents urban renewal, sophistication, and a new standard of residential excellence in this prime location. We are committed to making the transfer process seamless, efficient, and trustworthy, because your confidence in this project matters. On behalf of Titan Law, we thank you for your trust and look forward to serving you as you become proud owners of the Connaught luxury residence. Thank you. And just to add on, the agreements of sale are ready, so please make sure you see the Third Tone property team. Thank you.
A round of applause for Mr. Calvin Sabao. See, he just really explained that. We're going to take care of your finances, guys. We are ready for it all. We're getting closer to the end of our event this evening, and I do know some of you are hungry, and some of you, I know you are hungry, ma'am. I'm pointing at my sister. I can do that. I'm the youngest one, so I'm allowed to pick on her. So at the end of the day, we're going to get straight into our next part, and I'm going to call up Engineer Farai. He's going to come up and close the evening for us, but before he does, my name is Marissa Marinda. So, Honorable, you were talking about, young people speaking well. My events are Thank you so much. That's my way of advertising who I am. I'm an MC. I will come and do your hosts, and I'm so honored to be a part of Thayton Property, who have acknowledged what I can do and have allowed me to facilitate for this fantastic, phenomenal event this evening. So, without further ado, I will call up Engineer Farai, who's going to come and do the vote of thanks, give a speech, and then close the evening and allow us to go and eat. Over to you, Engineer.
Thank you, Marissa. I'd like to thank everyone who has given a presentation today. It's been really brilliant. Honorable, that was amazing. I really enjoyed that. I don't know if I call it a speech or motivation. You know. My name is Farai Mkwembi. I'm a structural engineer, responsible for the design of the Connaught luxury residence, both the civil and structural engineering design. I'm here to talk about the construction program. But before that, I would like to acknowledge the great work that has been done by the team. To date, we've been able to get all statutory approvals, the development permit, Trimo. Thank you very much. Also, we've been able to get the environmental certificates and the council approvals. This means we will officially start, we will break ground on the 1st of May, 2026. And our construction is going to be for 18 months, and we will officially give you your keys on the 1st of December, 2027. We believe in delivering quality. Quality, quality, quality is what we believe in. For you to see this, I would like to call upon all the Theton team members to stand up. Once again, sorry guys. Sounds like a schoolboy assembly, huh? Okay. Guys, these guys are going to be your tour guides today. We are going to look at 2 blocks that we've completed and are ready, Block B and C. They will show you around, tell you more about what we do, how we do it. But most of all, we want to demonstrate to you that what we put on renders, what you see around you, we also put it in real life. So if you could kindly go not more than 10 people per tour guide, to allow us to be able to appreciate and understand what product we are going to give you. This is just a snippet of what the Connaught is going to look like. So please, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for coming. Please feel free to grab food and drink. Sorry guys, you can sit down. Sorry. Please feel free to get food and drink. And thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for your time. Thank you, and God bless.
See, I love the mic so much, I just had to have the last say. I forgot to say that you can stay put inside because it has been raining and it is a little bit wet outside, so the food is going to be served to you as you are inside the tents as well. So you can make sure that you tell the waiter your order for your drink and they will be bringing you some food for you to enjoy. That's the last say. Have a fantastic evening and thank you so much for joining us this evening.